And so they got a whole new coaching staff. They Pico technically retired, but they also kind of fired him, to be honest. But pretty sure he's still in front office role with them. So yeah, he's a great coach for them for a long time. He will be a Hall of Fame coach once he's eligible. So start their coaching staff. Head coach Brandon McDonald, former Ravens defense coordinator. Like their defense was one of the best last year. Held a lot of guys to career seasons last year. Like, well, they can just make the defense be really good. And then that offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubbs, he was spent the last 2 years for his senior purchase Washington defensive coordinator. Like this past season, Washington Thompson was great. He helped develop Michael Penix. He helped develop Roma Dunze, Jalen Polk, guys like that. Like that offense, the Washington's produced a lot of good players these last couple of years. So we'll see how does an NFL college. Not all good college coaches do good in the NFL. So we'll see. Defensive coordinator brought in Aiden Dirty, former Cowboys defensive line coach. The defensive line's been really good these past few years. So we'll see. Hopefully he can help that defense out, but McDonald, I don't know for sure. But McDonald probably doing most of the play calling because that's what he did in Baltimore. So we'll see though. But yeah, it's like Donald should be a good head coach, but it's his first year. So now most first year coaches don't have great first years. Sometimes they took at least a year, like build chemistry, get the other roster they want, implement their scheme. So you'll see. This team does that. This is a decent. This has some good play. This is a decent team. So we'll see. Sounds good. Your depth chart. Quarterback, you still got Geno Smith. For until like the last 2 years, he's mostly been a journeyman backup. Like he was a former second round pick in 2013, but like he never did anything at the Jets, Giants, or Chargers. Or first years with Seahawks. These past years, he's been really good. He had less yards and less touchdowns last year compared to 22, but he still had a good year. So we'll see. But this whole team, a lot of this team didn't have a great year last year because they didn't make the last time. And then behind him, we trade for Sam Howell from Washington, just be his third year. He went in the fifth round. A lot of people thought he could have been top 5 pick going into that season, but he had bad final year in North Carolina. We'll see. He had a good year at Washington last year. Just they had top 5 pick, and yeah, we'll see. But he also had a lot of picks. We'll see. But like as your backup, maybe can let Gino like this last season. Sam Howell be your starter next year. That's pretty good. Give Howell another year of development. And your third string quarterback, you got PJ Walker. He's been fine starting when he had to, but he's also good. He's a pretty good backup quarterback. But yeah, that's really it. So let's go to running back. You got a good 1-2 punch. Still got Kenneth Walker the third. You still got Jack Charbonnet going to his second year. So Kenneth Walker, he had a little bit of a down year compared to his first year. He has missed 4 total games, 2 in each of his first 2 years. He still had almost 1,000 yards last year, but he's still a little bit down year. Well, last year is kind of end years a little bit more towards like a 1A 1B with Charbonnet. So we'll see if they keep that up. Charbonnet did show some flashes as a rookie in Seattle. At least under Carroll, did like to have a running back by committee thing after they got rid of Marshawn Lynch. So we'll see there. You got Charbonnet, second year guy out of UCLA, but he was also drafted with last different regime, and he didn't do tons rookie year. So we'll see. Then behind them, you got Kenny McIntosh, a rookie out of Georgia. Second year guy at Georgia, sorry. No, he's at Georgia. No, second pick out of Georgia last season. So we'll see. For the Super Bowl mental guy, you're not expecting much. But Georgia does tend to produce a lot of good running backs, so you'll see. Also behind them, we got George Jelani, a UDFA rookie. He's this developmental player. You don't really have much at fourth string and beyond, but that's fine. You really catch a ton at that point because those guys should not be playing at all. And let's be honest, it's not tough to find good running backs anymore. But so yeah, that's still easier nowadays. Now let's go to a receiver. You got really good number 1 and 2. You got a young guy you hope sets up Jackson Smith-Njigba. You had a very good rookie year, but he was a former first round pick, so you'll see. He is your third guy, so you're not expecting 10 out of him, but you hope he has a good year because you were drafted in the first round. Yeah, as your number 1 wideout, you got J.K. Metcalf. He had another good year last year. He didn't miss one game, but he still had over 1,100 yards. He had 8 touchdowns. He had only a 66 catches, so it's just a ton. But he still had 1,000 yards. Yeah, he's good. No, and then behind him, you also got Tyler Lockett. He's a good deep threat. Like he had, I just remember like those launch balls. Russ would always throw the end zone. Him and Lockett had that great connection. But he's still a good wideout. He didn't have 1,000 yards for the first time since 2018. But he still almost had 900. He still had 5 touchdowns. So still had a good year. But as your number two, then behind them is your number three. You got Jackson Smith and Drigba going into the second year, so he'll push steps up and can have a little bit of a breakout year. But he had 63 catches, 628 yards. He only had 4 touchdowns. He had a lot of catches, but he didn't do a ton. So we'll see. Behind them, you also got Jake Bobo. He's just a second year guy. He's another guy out of UCA last year. He's you don't really as your fourth guy. That's not great, but he's fine depth after that. We also did bring in Lavisco Chenault Jr., former second round pick. He was not. He's been a fine wideout. He was just not worth that second round pick. But he's still been fine. Like he had 2 good years of Jags, but he has struggled with injuries and has not been good these last 2 years with the Panthers. So we'll see. Rather have him be your fourth guy over Bobo, but Bobo has had a decent camp, so we will see. As a Derek Young, D. Eskridge. D. Eskridge is more like a utility, versatile guy that can go. You can like just run random plays through. So we'll see there. Derek Young's not that good either. Behind them, we also got Hayden Hatton and Aesop Winston Jr. You're going to develop those hairs. The other guys should make the roster. Maybe practice squad if they do want to carry some extra receivers. I feel like extras will maybe around receiver 6 over Young if they do carry 6. Not all teams do, but some do. Behind them, you also got Cody White and Ty Scott and T.D. Williams. They're not good players. So they should not make this roster. They just shouldn't. Let's just be honest right there, and then they should not make this roster. So that's it for roster room. You got 2 really good wideouts. You got young guy you hope gets better, but you don't have great depth behind them. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go to tight end. You still have Noah Fant. You got him in the Russell Wilson trade a couple of seasons, 2 years ago. Like he has no talent to them, but they did pretty good in that Russ trade. So yeah, last year he had 32 catches. He had 414 yards. He did have 0 touchdowns, but it was like he was kind of split with like Will Disley last year, like who was the main tight end. But with Disley's gone, they released him. So we'll see. Hopefully, Fant is your main guy at tight end now. But we'll see. Then behind them, you also got Pharaoh Brown. He's fine depth, but he's dealing with injury right now. Should be back for start regular season, but is he fully healthy by start regular season? But he's a fine backup tight end. He's a fine blocker, but he's not done anything receiving wise. Then behind them, you also got Tyler Mabry. It's a second year guy at Maryland. I don't know if sure second year guy just because he's 20, almost 28, but still, he's just young. He's just a backup tight end. That's really it. Then we also got Brady Russell, another older guy out of Colorado, soon to be 26. He's just depth. You don't really have much depth out of these top 2 guys, but your top 2 are fine. So that's it for your tight end group and weapons. Now let's go to your offensive line. Like you got 2 addition. You added 2 new starters. You added Lincoln Tomlinson. He spent last year at the Jets. He had some good years at the Niners. So he didn't do great at the Jets last year. You brought in Connor Williams. Another Dolphin. So he sent last year Dolphins. He's had some good years. A lot of people were surprised when he signed a 1-year deal. A lot of people were expecting a multi-year deal, a lot more money. But he's still a good starting center. So yeah, that's an upgrade over what he had before. So now let's just go to your tackles. You have Charles Cross, 30-year guy out of Mississippi State, former top 10 pick. He's a fine tackle. He hasn't done a ton, but he's also a couple injuries. But he's going to his 3rd year. A lot of third tackles break out in their third year, even if they are top 10 picks. So yeah, we'll see. Not most tackles don't do great right off the bat. Doesn't matter how high they're drafted. Just most don't. So yeah. Behind him, you got Raekwon O'Neal. He's not good depth. He's just a momental player, but you're not expecting a ton. Like his ceiling isn't the greatest anyway, so he probably won't be great. But at best, he'd probably be a decent backup tackle. Then behind him, you got Persher and Garrett Greenfield, developmental players. So yeah, but at right tackle, as your backup right tackle, they had George Fant, who can play both tackles. He's a fine starting tackle, but how old is he at this point? He's 32, so he's not that young anymore. He's still fine starting. He's just still fine tackle. Like if either Lewis or Taras miss some games, you'll be fine with Fant going in there. So you also got Abraham Lucas, another third year guy at Washington State. Like they got their hopeful like Lucas. So if so many still aren't good here, like they found their future tackle. Look at their future in the same draft in 22. Also, assuming they extend both of them before next off season before they're free agents. Yeah, Lucas is a good right tackle. Like, yeah, I talked about some Fant, Stone Forsyth. He's okay depth. That's really it. He's not that good of a player at all. You also got Michael Jarrell, just a mental player, developmental player. That's really it. You're not expecting a ton out of him. Since now that you're going to your interior, you got two hopeful upgrade. For sure, one upgrade in Williams. Hopefully, upgrade Thomason, but it's hard to tell because he didn't have a great year with the Jets this past season. So let's see though. He is 32, so he's getting older. Yeah, he should be fine. He should be better, but he did. Like, and then he also got Senator Brian Connor Williams like week or two ago. So yeah, a little over 2 weeks ago, they signed him. I just can't remember for sure. But yeah, he should be big. He should be a good center for them. Yeah, he's a good player. But behind him, you got Oli Olutumi, second year guy out of Michigan. He was a good starter at Michigan, but he's a mental player. He is already 25, so we'll see. But you don't have to. You shouldn't have him starting, but you might have to start next year because Williams is on a 1 year deal. You don't have anybody else at backup center, so we'll see. You mind Thompson, you got McKinnon and Curtis. Second, you got Chattanooga, developmental guard, but he's not. You shouldn't get much out of him. So let's go to right guard. You have Anthony Bradford, second year guy. How's LSU? He was drafted in the fourth round last year. Hopefully, have a better second season. We didn't do great last year. See how he does on the new coaching staff because we'll see. But it should be fine. Then you also have another rookie third round pick in Christian Haynes out of UConn. He's already 24, so he probably won't get a ton better. But like him and Bradford probably will be battling it out for that starting right guard spot. And both of them should get better. Then behind him, you also got Sotua, Nomimi. He's not that good. Should not make this roster. And this Smiths line has some veterans starting, but for the most part, they have young guys. Should get better. Like at tackles, they're both third-year guys, starters. Right guard, second-year guy, or rookie year. If Haynes doesn't manage to beat up Bradford, could happen. And yeah, like in Thomas and Williams are only 1 year deals, so we'll see what happens next off season. They always bring in somebody. They could always draft somebody. They can trade for somebody. Like there's always they can do that. We'll see. So now let's go to your defense. First, let's start with your out. Let's start with your edge rushers, like your listed edge. You got Jarn Reed. He's a decent player. He's 30. He's only 32 by the middle of December, though. He's still a good, decent player. So we'll see. He did have 7 sacks last year, so he did have a good year. He's spent most of his career with the Seahawks, and that's for all his best years have been. Like, so we'll see. Then you also got Leonard Williams. You traded for him from the Giants in middle season last year. He had a decent year, but he is 30. Oh, you played 18 games last year. I did not realize it until just looking at this. It's funny. One of the few players that have played 18 games so far. Hey, if the NFL eventually moves to 18 games, he should be fine. He's already done it. Yeah, he's a good player. Just yeah, and then in your nose tackle, you got Jonathan Hankins. He's all right, but he's also 32. So we'll see, but he's fine. But in your first round pick this year, you drafted Myron Murphy the second, so you hope he can move, get over, he can move out Reed, probably Reed just or Hankins, just because you gave Williams a big contract this offseason, so you're expecting him to be your starter. But so yeah, then you also get Cameron Young, second year fourth round pick out of Mississippi State last year. See when he comes back. He was placed on pup list a month ago, so hopefully he'll just be a rotation player or like really the step. But hopefully he'll be back by week one, just so they can have that extra depth because it always helps. They also got Mike Morris, second year fifth round pick out of Michigan last draft. He barely played last year, so you don't really pay attention to stats. He's just a mental player. So we will see. Then behind them, you also got Devere Livingston and Kyan Bars. The mental players, neither of them very good. They probably won't be good at their top peak. They also got Mario Kendricks, rookie of Virginia Tech. I don't know how old he is, so he's just a mental player. Probably just got at best just because he is UDFA. Most UDFAs don't make rosters. This are like really top of the line UDFAs. Like a lot of people thought we're not get drafted high. Like I never heard him Pinux before. I'll just give an example. Like I'm in Pace last year. A lot of people thought he was drafted high. Made a roster for Vikings. Brian Samoa got injured for Vikings. Took starting job from him and ran with it. And Samoa isn't getting him back anytime soon. So now let's go to your outside linebacker. So first start there, Wills. You got Usunya Owusu, former Charger. Been 2 years with Seahawks. He's had this down here this last year. He didn't have to do a ton, but he missed 11 games. So can you stay healthy? He hasn't done a ton of injuries before, so it should be fine. But the previous year, he had his best year with the Seahawks, like his whole career. He had 9.5 sacks, which is his best year, like by far. I think that's closest before that was 5 in the previous year. So he has gotten better each year since 2020. Like he's gotten more sacks every year since 2020 when he's played a full season. So can you do that again and be fully healthy? If you can stay healthy, he's a good player. Just doesn't help you if he isn't on the field. Then opposite of him, you also got Draymond Jones. I think he was also acquired in the Russ trade. No, he wasn't. Okay. I thought he might. He wasn't prior for Russ trade, but he did come over from the Broncos, which is why I thought he might have been part of the Russ trade. Sorry. He's fine. He's been a good player. And then behind them, you also got Derek Hall and Boye Mafe. Sounds like Boye Mafe's has had a good camp, so he might show some splashes. He can't 30 guy out of Minnesota. Then he hasn't played a ton, but he's still a good player. Should be a good player. Derek Hall. This is his rookie year, second year guy out of Auburn. He had a decent year. So he didn't do much last year, but he also didn't play. It's like he was a backup. He has had 2 sacks in preseason. It was only preseason. It's always good to see when you have guys have good preseasons. And behind them, you also got Sonny Anderson and Darrell Taylor. I feel like if I don't think either of them really will, but if either of them do, it'll probably be Darrell Taylor because he has shown some flashes. He has been a decent player in the past. Anderson is not that good. And he also got Jamie Sheriff and Joshua Onozuyu. Sorry for pushing that last name for Joshua guy. I don't talk about Joshua much because he's on IR, so he'll be out for most of the season, if not all. And then James Sheriff, I have not heard of him before, so probably a best be practice squad guy, for being honest. That's no idea when I haven't heard of him before. Sorry. So now let's go to middle linebackers. He brought in Terrell Dodson from the Bills. He had a good year with the Bills last year. like when he was the main starter for once after turning in his last off season. Milano was out for most of the year, but Bills always under McDermott tended to have a lot of good linebackers. So how much was because of the system? He should still be a fine player. They're hoping he can replace Bobby Wagner, who's gone for a second time now. They also brought in Jerome Baker from he's been with the Dolphins for a long time. He's been a fine linebacker. He's not great. So you got two decent linebackers. We'll see what happens there. Then behind them, you also got John Ryanton. Okay, depth. He's not great though. You also got Tyrese Knight, rookie out of UTEP. He'll probably find a weakness roster because he was a fourth round pick. They should put him as a player. You're not expecting much out of him. You're just hoping he can eventually replace Baker because Baker is only on 1 year deal, I'm assuming, just because he's, yeah. They also have Blake Lynch. He's a third year guy. He has played for He was originally played for Vikings and then Chargers his last season. He's not done really anything. Like he had 2 of 3 years, he had 0 sacks. And 1 year he did have at least 1 sack, it was only 2. So we'll see. He's barely played. He's just mostly been a practice squad player, so that's probably what it'll be here, if that. You also got Patrick O'Connell, Easton Gibbs, and Drake Thomas. All you know momentum players outside of O'Connell. There's probably practice squad guys in Gibbs and Thomas, but that's really it. You're not expecting much out of those players this year. I guess if you're linebacker group, now let's go to your secondary. So we'll start with corners. Got Tariq Woolen or Tariq Woolen, if you know that name better. Like he had a really good rookie year for a 5th-round pick. Like he had a good year last year too, but like his 5th-round rookie, he had 6 picks. He had 16 pass deflections. So yeah, like he had a good rookie year. He still had a good year last year. He only had 2 picks, but he still had a pretty good year. And opposite of him, you brought in Trey Brown. Well, actually, you had Trey Brown to say sorry, but he has not done much. He's a okay starter if you don't really mind starting. But you also had Devon Witherspoon, a former top 2nd-year guy, top 5 pick. He had a really good rookie year. He was defensive rookie of the year finalist. Yeah, he had a pretty good year. Yep. So we'll see. Like this secondary is really young and has some good potential players in the future. They also got Michael Jackson. He's okay. He's not great though. So let's see what happens there. 3rd year Seattle, he's fine depth. That's really it. They also got Lance Boykin and Artie Burns. Burns is a fine slot corner, but he's not even that good really. They also got Lance Boykin. Boykin's just a developmental player. They also got 2 former Auburn corners, and DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett. Just developmental players. James was a 6th-round pick from this draft, rookie. Pritchett was a 5th-round pick from this draft. Both guys have Auburn. Just developmental corners, probably practice squad. Just they might be able to make it over Boykin, but we'll see. And they also got Carlton Johnson. He's not a good player. He should not make this roster. He just shouldn't. So now let's for your corner room. Now let's go to safety. You got rid of Jamal Adams. You got rid of Quandre Diggs. We'll see what happens there. Like those 2 guys are good safeties. Like he gave up a ton to get Jamal Adams. He was not as good for them as he was for the Jets, but he's still a fine player. So you got Rayshon Jenkins. He's all right safety, but he's not that great. Just rather for him like being a backup safety if you can. You also got Julian Love, 2nd year with them, formerly from the Giants. He's had some pretty good years. Like, yeah, it's like now he's got consistent starting opportunity. That's pretty good. They should be good. Behind them, you got Kevon Wallace. I think he was 2025 out Clemson. I'm pretty sure. Yep. He has not done anything. He's just fine. Depth, safety. Behind them, you also get Kobe Bryant. Can also play some corner. This one he mainly played his rookie year, and he was fine his rookie year, but he missed 8 games last year. So can you stay healthy? But he's just a backup safety. It shows him, so maybe he can replace Jenkins next year or just be better than him this year. They also got behind them, you got Marquise Blair. He's all right depth. He's not great, though. It's just depth. And Tayo Kuda and Jericho Reed the second. Depth, neither guys are that good players. They should not make this roster. But for your defense, you got a lot of young pieces on this defense, so can these young guys, unproven players like Murphy and Bowie Mafe, Derek Hall, your young like DJ James, Mia Pritchett. You don't really need them Pritchett and James to step up, but if they can step up, that'd be great because you have great depth at corner. We'll see. Got a lot of young players on this team in general. So let's go to your special teams. Kicker, you got Jason Myers. He's a really good kicker. He is 33. So yeah, let's see. This last season, he had 35-42. He he was 50% from 50 plus, so this is great. He's still a good kicker. Then behind at punter, you got Michael Dickinson. He's a fine punter. Yeah, so let's take his stats last year. So last year, he did average 50 yards a punt. He had a longest 73, which is good. He only gave up 8 touchbacks. Then he had 25 punts into 20, so he had a good year last year as punter. Then her Turner, he got the Eskridge and the Visca Chenault Jr. That's probably that's probably like the main reason if he does Eskridge makes this roster because of his return ability. Chenault's probably going to make this roster either way. But yeah, just because Eskridge is a little bit down the tip chart. We'll see. He's a former second round back Seattle, but he has not been much. He's tiny. He's only five for a wide receiver. He's only 5'9". He's 190. So maybe he can move to running back, maybe because that's more like a running back height. Not you don't really see a lot of good wide receivers at that height. So let's see. He has going to his fourth year in a second round pick. He probably won't do it just because going to his fourth year. If you're not good, as a former second round pick, you're probably going to have to make this a team's roster unless they just don't have very good depth at that position. So let's go to their schedule. Week 1, face the Broncos. They no longer have Russ. This will be Bo Nix's first career game. So we'll see, but McDonald's great. Just want to go right at him. That's a win. Patriots win. Dolphins and Lions losses. Giants win. Niners loss. Falcons in Atlanta. I feel like could probably lose that one. Assuming Kirk has a good year. Bills loss. Rams potential win, but I feel like I'll split the series with the Rams. Bye. Loss against the Niners. They should sweep the Cardinals. I feel like they'll probably lose this one because it is in New York, but they could easily beat the Jets too. Packers loss. Vikings win. The Vikings should probably won't be that great this year, especially because they don't have JJ McCarthy because he's done for the year, so he won't be able to start at this point. Bears, but I feel like you'll probably win one of these 2 final games just because you will be competing for a wild card spot. Because I think the Niners should win this division again. But we'll see there. But they should. They want to win both, obviously, but they hope obviously for sure at least win one of them because the Bears and Rams should be competing for wild card spots this year. Assuming Caleb Williams is good and the Rams can stay healthy again. So we'll see though. Yeah, that's it for the Seattle Seahawks season preview. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good night.